Hi everyone, I'm Shauna and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm bringing you a little bit of sass over here. I'm going to be talking about new makeup releases and my thoughts on them. This is like a will I buy it style of video, and I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One, I'm feeling hella sassy right now, so I'm ready to roast some things. But I've also felt myself like longing to buy makeup, like kind of just being interested in everything. So I need to talk myself out of some of these things, and hopefully I can talk you out of buying some things too. I mean, you work hard for your money, so let's try and save us some coin where we can. First of all, I just saw that Goss released a new palette and I'm drooling over it. It's kind of basic, but that's me. I kind of love a basic palette, but I think the color story is so beautiful, like so beautiful. Like it has a mauve beside a gold. I love that. It kind of like swoon, like pitter patter my heart. But I just know that it's gonna be so expensive. The price hasn't been released yet. So in my mind, I'm like, I know that I can't afford this, or I know it's out of the price range. But damn, he knows how to make a good eyeshadow palette. Okay, we're going to talk about some bronzers first. We're going to talk about the Hula Bronzer, and then we're going to talk about the Physicians Formula Bronzer. Now, I think I referred to Benefit, the brand, as Hula, but it's a Hula Bronzer. Anyways, I want to first talk about this Benefit bronzer palette. And honestly, I think somebody at Benefit needs to be fired, whether that's the CEO, some kind of creative director, I don't know who that is. All Benefit does is re-release the same thing over and over and over again. All they do is like put a different variation of their bronzers and highlighters and blushes together and then re-release it. Or like, oh, we released Hula Bronzer like 20 years ago. Here's the third shade. And then in 5 more years, we'll give you a 4th shade. So to me, Benefit just really feels tired and they're not innovating, and they kind of need to be, but that's just my opinion. At the same time though, while I think that this new palette is kind of a bad idea, I do wonder what their sales are like, because it also seems counterintuitive that if products aren't performing, that they'll just repeat that same product all over again. Anyways, I think this palette is a bad idea because at most, depending on your skin tone, you can use 3 of these 4 shades. What are you gonna do with the 4th shade? You're just wasting your own money buying products that you can't even use the whole palette. And in my opinion, these like face palettes are just on the decline in the industry. Whenever I'm watching like will I buy it videos, or whenever I'm watching people like declutter their collection or talk about products they're no longer buying, face palettes are like always on the list. Granted, YouTube doesn't control the entire industry, but it feels like face palettes are on the decline and Benefit's coming out with new ones. And here's the thing also about Benefit is that most people can't use all 4 shades, so at least 1, if not 2, are going to be wasted. So who is this marketed for? It seems like the average consumer is not going to get the use out of it, so why would they buy it? And Benefit is not marketing themselves to makeup artists, so I'm really not sure who this is for. And in my opinion, Hula is not a good bronzer. I have one. It does not blend. I think it performs pretty poorly. Pass on this. I'm going to pass on this. Next, we're going to talk about the Physicians Formula bronzers. Now, this is, a really cute drugstore release. It's like food themed packaging in the sense. They're really cute, and I think that's what's going to draw a lot of people in. Plus, a lot of people really love the Physicians Formula butter bronzer. That's so many people's like holy grail drugstore bronzer. But what this looks like is like the same formula in all 4 bronzers, like base formula, with just like little minor tweaks in between each product. So it's not even saying that like, oh, the sprinkle donut one is a different formula than the cookie one or the coffee one. They're just, the difference here to me is the scent. Plus, I'm on the Trendmood page right now, and it does not indicate that there are different shades. There's just like one shade per, but I'm not 100% sure on that because I did just read somebody's comment who said that they got like the darkest shade and it still sucked. Anyways, that's one issue. Physicians Formula is a brand like Benefit that have made basically no attempts to be inclusive or expand their shade ranges. So my money's not going there, and I'm not gonna fall for like that cute kitsch gimmick. But when you look at the bronzers, I want to talk about these bronzers more, just a little bit more in depth, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who love the butter bronzer and they're like, yeah, that looks interesting. A lot of these bronzers have like blushes or other kinds of pigment built into them. This cookie bronzer has like a pinky mauve blush right in the center. And in my experience, when you have that color blush and that color bronzer, that looks a bit muddy on the skin. It doesn't look as nice as maybe I've envisioned. I've used products like this in the past and I haven't had good results with them. The same is true for their other one. They have one with like a highlighter. This reminds me of like a cargo blush that I used to wear like 5 years ago. And you know, Physicians Formula is not the first brand to bring in a bronzer with like a highlighter built in. I think they've done gradiated highlighters at least in the past. Like that's not necessarily an innovation, so it's not like they're doing something new, but you have like the highlighter right in the middle of the pan with the bronzer. And I'm not somebody who likes to mix my highlighter in with my bronzer. I don't like a matte bronzer, but I don't like a glittery or shimmery bronzer either. And I feel like that's just what you're gonna get with this product. So this one's a no for me too. So the last one, what is this called? Oh, the butter donut. It has sprinkles on it. They're pink and green. What is this gonna look like when you blend it into the product and then also put it on your face? I can't imagine it looking good. Either it's gonna look muddy or it's not gonna do anything. And why would you buy a product with sprinkles if it looks either way? I don't know, this is just my feeling about this, so I wouldn't take a risk on this product. Plus you have the shade range. I don't need my blushes or bronzers to have fragrance, and I don't care that it looks like a donut or a sprinkle or a coffee. Like that just doesn't get me. It's literally makeup marketing and I'm not gonna fall for it. Okay, let's talk about a MAC release, a MAC holiday release. Excuse you? Somebody's Trend Mood comment sums up my feelings about this. It's July, let me live. The comment on here, like Trend Mood's caption says, it's almost time for the holiday season. Excuse me, almost time for the holiday season. Why are we playing into this hype of it's somehow holiday time in July? We say this every year and it kind of gets me every year. Why do the holidays need to start in July? That's my problem here. Not so much that the colors and shades, but I'll talk about that in just a second. There's like no need to bring the holidays into July and start this marketing this early. By the time September rolls around, if this is not already released, we're gonna have forgotten about it and probably be bored by the time it actually is released in holiday time. And then are you really gonna use a peppermint eyeshadow? Are you gonna be enticed to use a peppermint or an eyeshadow packaged like a peppermint in September? I'm not. Like that's not gonna make me want to use it in September because I'm like, yes, fall. Yes, pumpkin spice lattes. Yes, going to the pumpkin patch. Give me a chunky sweater. Give me a cute boot. Give me a brown smoky eye. Give me Bites chai lipstick. That's what I want in September, not this like peppermint looking eyeshadow. But then I do think that the eyeshadows look nice. At least there's this middle one. It looks like this goldy purpley shifted eyeshadow. I think that one is beautiful. The other two like aren't my speed. Those aren't colors I gravitate towards or use, so I can kind of block those out. But when it comes to that middle one, I think it's really pretty. However, in the peppermint packaging, I will only use this color at Christmas time. or holiday time, because that's what the packaging says. Even though this color is not like holiday specific or holiday themed, I think it could work year round. And so for me, it's the packaging that doesn't entice me. You take this out of the package, that kind of packaging, and you put it in a regular one, and I would be more interested, because I don't want to use that in July. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that exact like phenomenon closer to the holidays, because we ain't there yet, my friends. All right, I want to talk about a couple of Patrick Ta things, because these I'm like, yes, girl. I love Patrick Ta. I love that brand, and it's one of the few luxury brands that I've loved what I've purchased. And I could easily see myself loving and enjoying other things that the brand has. Like they have lipsticks and lip liners, and I really think I would love. The formulas look great. So it's one of those few brands, period, that I kind of feel like I would like the whole offering as a whole. But they are really expensive, so I can't afford everything, and it's not always worth it. So here they have the new Major Brow Lamination Gel for 26 USD. My guess is it's probably going to be $35. I haven't actually gone to look at the price for this. Either way, even if it was $25, it's too expensive for me to use as an everyday eyebrow gel. It's just too expensive. And my guess is that it's probably great, but that's just not in my budget. $25 is not in my budget for eyebrow gel. And this is kind of like my conundrum here, is that like I love this, and I love the idea of this, and I love the idea of owning a lot of Patrick Ta stuff. But like, reality check is you can't afford it. You don't need to spend $25 on an eyebrow gel, even if it's great. The drugstore has got us covered. At least that's my opinion. I think the e.l.f. Wild Brow is probably gonna get us there. I don't know if this formula is like really different from like a typical eyebrow gel because it's called a brow lamination gel, or if that's just like them trying to like be creative with the name. Um, so if it's like a regular eyebrow gel, this is me telling myself you don't need it. You're good with your $4 eyebrow gel. The second Patrick Ta thing I want to talk about is kind of old news by now. You know, this makeup space just moves so fast, like products just lose our interest and come and go and hype so quickly. But that's the new Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette, or new as in like it's one of their newest releases and their only eyeshadow product that they have on the market. I think this eyeshadow palette is probably one of the most beautiful neutral palettes I have ever seen. I think that the shimmers look beautiful, spectacular, the kinds of colors that I like. They picked the colors of both the mattes and the shimmers like chef's kiss. Like, I think that the choices are great. And I just think that Patrick Ta probably did a really great job with that eyeshadow formula. I kind of have all faith that it's excellent. And I think it's about $90. I mean, I'm on my no buy right now, so like I can't buy it, but this is one where I'm genuinely like, in 5 or 6 months, maybe even for Christmas, like, would I ask for this? Would I buy this in a sale on a later date? Because that'd probably be one of the only ways I would buy an eyeshadow palette of that caliber, or of that price, sorry. Was thinking like, maybe I would ask for this, maybe I would buy it later after the no buy, save up on a sale, those kinds of things. However, even if the formula is amazing, which I think it is, I already have so many neutral palettes. I don't need another one, even if this one is great. And if I ever decided to buy this, I would need to either declutter or use up other palettes that I own. And here's, I guess, where I get into trouble, and this is a mentality I also have in other parts of my life, is that you could love and use multiple neutral eyeshadow palettes. Like, they could really be lovely and amazing and work for you and be great formulas. But after a while, like, how many neutral palettes can you really have? They just like blend together and they all kind of do the same thing. I think I would love this palette so much, but I already have the neutrals. Don't buy this, even though you love it or you're yearning after it for now, or declutter like 4 palettes you already have. like those are the options. It's not both because I'll never use both, but this is the ongoing problem. Is this like the reality? You have to declutter what you already own in order to bring in something else. That's not what I want. Like that's not what I want. So I think this is just a moment of, I can admire this beautiful thing. After a couple of months, that lust is gonna die down, and like you're gonna be fine with the neutrals that you have. You're gonna achieve the same kind of looks. You're gonna be just as happy. You're not gonna be happier with the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. You're not. You're gonna create the same kind of looks and you're gonna be fine. I wanna talk about another eyeshadow palette. And this is one that's kind of getting like hot fire roasted on Trend Mood when it was posted. It's a little bit older. It's a week old. Sorry. Apparently a week is old in the makeup space. It's the Nars Climax palette. It just says coming soon. It doesn't say a price either. And this is getting hot fire roasted for being boring. And it kind of, it makes me chuckle because for me, I'm thinking, what do you expect from Nars? They're kind of this more like neutral kind of brand. Yeah, they do like pops, but if you look at their like repertoire of eyeshadow palettes, they're more on this like neutral basic side. So that's what this is. And I love this. People on Instagram apparently think this is trash because it's neutral, and it's boring because it's neutral. And I get if you want to criticize it, saying like it's too close to this kind of palette or it's too close to this palette. Sure, I think that's valid, but this is not trash because it's neutral. That's my cup of tea. So I see this and I'm like, swoon, this is beautiful. The shimmers look amazing. The only color in here that I wouldn't use would be that blue in the bottom corner. It's not me. It's not the kinds of colors that I use. The greens are a little bit of a stretch for me, but they're kind of more muted, and the green in the middle has like gold glitter, so I think that it would be great. I love the tones of the mattes. I think that this is so great, and it's so up my alley. When I think about this in comparison to the Patrick Ta, I think this is beautiful, truly, and like I'm kind of enamored with this. But I think this compared to the Patrick Ta, in 3 months, I'll be like out of love with this. Whereas the Patrick Ta, I think would be like a longer term, in the back of my mind, like I think I could like this, or like I could get it any time of the year. I don't think that infatuation would go away. I could like do without it, but I don't think the infatuation would go away like this one. I think I could like genuinely forget about this in 3 months. I'm kind of in love with it now, and I'm trying to like, I guess what I might feel like, or what I might act like in the future. Because now I'm like, oh my gosh, what would I do to have this in my collection? I'm sorry, but you don't need it. You don't need it. I want to keep going on the palettes for just a minute more. I want to talk about the Powerpuff Girl palette. And I think this is like special in the space because it's another one of these IP collabs that we don't really see or haven't seen anything from. How many Powerpuff Girl themed things have you seen like geared towards adults? Not much. I watched Powerpuff Girls when I was young. I had a Powerpuff suitcase, loved this show. So I could really see people my age, I don't know exactly how long it was on the air, but I guess like millennials. I'm pretty sure I qualify as a millennial. I think I'm in that range. But like all this millennial Gen Z beef is like, I can't, it makes me laugh. Anyways, I could see people getting drawn in for the IP. When I look at this, it makes it, in my eyes, it seems really similar to the Lizzie McGuire palette that had like that gradient of color. There was a pink, a green, and a coral in there, and it feels like a gradient as well. That one was more obvious, but this one, this color story is just like not special anymore, especially coming from ColourPop because of all their releases. It's $22, so it's like expensive for ColourPop, and this is just all about the IP. That's what's drawing people in. It's not a super creative color story. I personally, I don't use greens or blues, so that's what, 4 of the shades. It's a third of the palette. I would use the top row, and then I don't even know if I would use that pink. So like what's the point here? Are you gonna buy it because it's Powerpuff Girls, or you're gonna buy it because you're genuinely gonna use it? Another IP collab I want to talk about, which I, I have lots of thoughts on this. This is the Aladdin collab. This feels like 2 years too late to me because, in my opinion, the best time to have done Aladdin stuff would have been when that new movie came out. I think in like 2019, could have been 2018. I don't know, anything pre-pandemic feels like 5 years ago. So whenever the Aladdin movie came out, that kind of felt like the time to make this kind of palette. So it just feels a little weird, and I think Makeup Revolution might have done something with Aladdin, like other brands were doing stuff with it when it did come out. I think that the palette itself, the eyeshadow palettes, are really pretty. I think the colors are really pretty. But it kind of seems like the palette dupes itself. Like there's multiple purples, there's multiple like beiges, there's a couple of like pinky kind of salmony colors that look really similar, a couple of like shimmers that look similar. This palette probably could have been cut in half and would have been just as beautiful, or at least maybe not totally cut in half, but like taken a third off. I don't think it needs to be that big. The packaging is beautiful, and I think that's going to get a lot of people because it's like blue and it's like kind of like a book, and it's very cute. They did a very good job on this. What doesn't make sense to me, and what I think is honestly kind of stupid, is the highlighter palette that's attached to it. It's 6 shades. Who in their right mind needs 6 highlighters brought into their collection all at once? I get that's kind of like an abrupt take, like I'm not trying to be mean, but bringing in 6 new highlighters all at once to me is overwhelming. I don't need 6 all at once, and you probably don't either. But the shade selection for me here is just kind of weird. And the reason why I say that is because we do have the same issue of somebody not being able to use all 6 shades. There's a white highlighter in here along with like it, I don't know, the pictures on here are like, the palette looks different in every picture, but one of the highlighters, I can't tell if that's brown or purple. So if it's brown, it might look better on darker skin tones, but I don't know what the color is. But there are like pink and like orange and coral highlighters and like what's a red highlighter. Regardless of skin tone, I don't think like coral, orange, or red are all that popular highlighting colors. So this palette is confusing because you have these, I would say, non-traditional colors, and then you also have that really big gap between the dark and the light. So I would have a hard time seeing one person, like any given person, use all 6. And then you have these non-traditional colors. Like I don't wear pink, coral, or red highlighters. I don't know, I think I've seen people wear pink. I've seen people wear pink, but the other couple I'm just not sure about. And ultimately, even if these are your shades, even if you're like, yes, Sean, I'm here for the coral, I'm here for the orange, do you need 6 all at once? And then they have a separate highlighter that, again, I can't tell the color of this. It looks like lilac in one light, and then it looks kind of like dusty in another, and then it looks kind of pink in another. So I don't know exactly what shade this is. And to me, when your palette photographs so differently in all of these pictures, I can't get a reliable read on whether I would like this or not. Like, what is the color here? But either way, it seems like those 2 items are like counterintuitive. You have a highlighting palette and then a standalone highlighter. Why would you need both? That would be 7 highlighters, which seems kind of like a lot. But the price on here is so low that you could buy those 2 things, the palette and the standalone highlighter, for $30. Before I close out this video, I just want to say that I was going to talk about the Jaclyn bronzers in that whole launch, but I decided not to because I feel like everybody's kind of said all the things that could be said about it. It's a bad shade range. There you go. I just don't think I could say anything new or better than what's already been said. The last thing I want to talk about are 2 Sephora kits. The first one is this like Give Me More lip kit. It's their like Give Me More Shine. That's what it's called. Give Me More Shine. And then they have a second kit, which is a little bit more expensive. The first one was like $32. This one is $45, and it's the Fresh Face Refresh. And a lot of the comments on here are like, this is such an amazing deal. Like, I haven't seen a deal this great in such a long time. And in that lip kit, that lip set, three of the 5 products were full size. The Fenty, the Huda, and the Milk. As for the Nars, that's the same one that's in their birthday, one of their birthday kits this year. So you could get that there easy. But in the bigger kit, in the Fresh Face kit, the Patrick Ta brow wax, the Benefit product, the brown eyeliner, and then the Iconic London bronzer, those are the only full size. For this particular bag, I feel like a lot of people would prefer the black eyeliner over the brown, but I also think, and what I'm kind of hearing is that, wow, it's such a great deal. The price of the Patrick Ta wax and the Benefit liner is more than the cost of the whole bag together. And then everything else is kind of like a bonus. And for this bag though, 3 of the products, Anastasia Lash, I don't know what I was trying to say there. The mascara, the Rare Beauty primer, and the Ilia lip gloss, those are like minis you can get with a promo code at Sephora. So to me, there's not a lot of value there. I mean, minis can be more expensive than we think, but you could basically get those free in Sephora orders. And I personally haven't heard all much great things about the Anastasia mascara as it is. So it's like 3 of those things are just like the size isn't great. For me though, the Iconic London product is like liquid bronzer, not my jam. So I wouldn't get that. And I think sometimes we just get so caught up in it's a good deal, it like doesn't matter. It's not a good deal though if you're not going to use everything. As for the lip product set, even though it might be a great price, you have so many lip products in here that a full size is great. Would you have bought these in the colors that they come with in this kit? This is like this standard middle of the road kit that like they're trying to guess what's going to appeal to the largest number of people. What kind of skin tone are they catering to? Might not be yours. And even if it is, would you have bought this product even if you were interested in it in this particular color? Rarely are you going to find all 5 products in the exact colors that you wanted or would have bought on your own. So even though they're full size, it could really easily be a waste of money. And kind of lastly on this, do you need 5 new lip products into your collection all at once? 5. For lip glosses, which are the things I could use the most, I could use one, like some of the smaller ones, 2 months would be the absolute quickest I could get it out. This is at least 8 months worth of product, plus you have that Nars, I don't know how long that would take. You have at least a year's worth of product, probably more. And then how many other lip products do you already have? That Milk makeup product comes in this red shade. Do you wear red, liquidy, kind of shiny lip products? For a lot of people, the answer is no. For me, the answer is no. So it just doesn't work. Do yourself a favor and don't buy the thing just because it's a great deal. I feel like I could be here forever talking about all these releases. I have so many thoughts, even on older products like Melt released this liquid highlighter. Are you using a liquid highlighter? So those are all the things I'm going to talk about today. I feel like I could be here forever talking about new makeup releases. I think it's a lot of fun, and I would love to hear your opinions down below in the comments. What did you think about some of the things that I said? Do you hate some of the things I'm loving and interested in? Do you like the same things? I would really love to know. And if you'd like to see more content like this from me in the future. I know I had a lot of fun, so if you liked it, let me know in the comments down below as well. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.